Hey, listen up. I need you to lean in right now because I'm about to tell you something that's going to shake your spirit loose. We're talking about the most revolutionary thing you might ever hear. Can't nobody tell you how to be you. You have tuned in to another episode of the Double Edge Factor. I am your host, Rod Manuel, and peace and blessings unto you. Before we get going, be sure to like, follow, and hit that subscribe button because the more positive interactions you put out there, the more they push this podcast to people who've never heard it before, which, of course, will allow us to grow and have a greater impact on more people around the world. So, if you would do me that huge favor, I would certainly appreciate it. I want to talk to you about the most dangerous thing that you can do to yourself. And that's trying to be somebody else's version of success. Trying to fit into somebody else's mold. Trying to live up to somebody else's expectations of who you actually should be. Right now, today, there are millions of people walking around wearing masks, living lies, pretending to be someone they're not because somewhere along the way, somebody told them that who they naturally are wasn't even good enough. Maybe it was a parent who said, why can't you be more like your sister? Or maybe it was a teacher who said, you're too loud, too quiet, too different. Maybe, and perhaps maybe, it was society that said, people like you don't succeed in places like this. Let me say this. Your comfort zone becomes your prison. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes your comfort zone becomes your prison. Sometimes playing it safe just keeps you from what your destiny really is. And so you learn to shrink. You learn to dim your light. You learn to speak softer, dream smaller, want less. You learn to apologize for taking up space, for having opinions, for just being human. But I'm here today. I'm here to tell you today that the version of you that you've been hiding, that's the version that the world needs to see. That is the version that has the power to change everything. See, everybody's trying to be like somebody else. And meanwhile, the real you, the authentic you, is sitting there like a caged lion. You've got gifts that nobody else has. You've got a perspective that nobody else can offer. You've got a voice nobody else can duplicate. But you're too busy trying to sound like someone else to use your own voice. You're too busy trying to walk like someone else to walk in your own power. You're too busy to be accepted by people who don't even understand your assignment. I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you did something because you wanted to do it? Not because it would impress someone, not because it would get you some type of approval, not because it was expected of you, but because it was authentically and genuinely, completely you. If you have to think about that answer, you've been living someone else's life just way too long. You know what conformity will cost you? Everything. It costs you your creativity because you're too busy following someone else's blueprint. It costs you your joy because you're trying to be happy with someone else's definition of success. It can cost you your relationships because people are connecting with your mask, not your face. It can cost you your purpose because you can't fulfill a destiny that was never meant to be yours in the first place. And that's the crazy thing. While you're over there trying to be like them, they're probably over there trying to be like somebody else too. It's basically a whole world of people pretending to be who who are pretending to be who are pretending to be, just trying to be somebody else. Meanwhile, the real you, the you that has something unique to offer this world, is suffocating behind all of these layers of fake. But there comes a moment in every person's life when you have to make a choice. You got to decide, am I going to keep living a lie or am I going to have the courage to be authentic? Am I going to keep trying to fit in or am I going to stand out? Am I going to keep asking permission to be great or am I going to give myself permission to just be who I am born to be? My friends, that right moment is now. Today is the day that you stop apologizing for being who you are. Today is the day that you stop shrinking to make other people comfortable. This is the day that you take off the mask and show the world your real face. Because let me tell you something, your authenticity is not arrogance, it's obedience. When you hide who you were made to be, you're not being humble, you're just being disobedient with your own purpose. Your personality, that's not an accident. Your gifts, they aren't coincidences. Your experiences, your perspective, your way of seeing the world, that is all a part of the divine design. You think you're too sensitive? Maybe the world needs your sensitivity. You think you're bold or maybe too bold? Maybe your boldness is exactly what's needed to break down some barriers. You think you're too different? Maybe your difference is the solution to someone else's problem. So stop trying to sand down the edges to fit into spaces that you weren't designed to, that weren't designed for your expansion. Stop trying to lower your voice to make insecure people feel better. Stop trying to dim your light because others can't handle the brightness that you bring. Your job is not to make everybody else comfortable with your greatness. Your job is to be great and let them figure it out on their own. And we will be right back. Today's show is brought to you by Polished Custom Builders, where they specialize in building your dream into a reality through custom home building, renovations, and interior design. Check them out at polishedcustombuilders.com, where the most beautiful house in the world is the one that you build yourself. When you start living authentically, everything changes. Your energy becomes, your energy changes because you're not wasting time or you're not pretending. Your relationships change because you attract people who love the real you. Your opportunities change because you're operating in your actual gifts instead of trying to fake someone else's. Your confidence is going to go through the roof because you're not constantly worried about being found out. Your peace, your peace changes because you're not fighting an internal war between who you are and who you're pretending to be. I'm talking about the kind of freedom that comes when you can wake up every morning and just be yourself. No mask, no pretense, no performance, just pure, unfiltered, authentic you. But freedom, it just ain't free. It's going to cost you some things. It might cost you some fake friends who were comfortable with who you represented at that time. It might cost you some opportunities that were never meant for you in the beginning. So, with change, there's always a cost involved. It might cost you your family or some family members who want to keep you in that box that they put you in when you were 7 years old. It might. It might just cost you some control because growth is never comfortable. But let me tell you what you're going to gain. You will gain yourself. You will gain the respect of people who matter. You will gain opportunities that are actually aligned with your gifts. You'll gain relationships that are built on truth instead of lies. You'll gain the ability to sleep at night knowing that you're not living a lie. You'll gain the power that comes from operating in your authentic gifts. You'll also gain the joy that comes from being exactly who you're meant to be. And I think most importantly, you'll gain the ability to give others the permission to be authentic as well. Because when you have the courage to be real, you show everyone around you that it is possible. Your authenticity doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of everyone watching you. When you stop pretending, you give your children permission to be themselves. When you stop conforming, you show your friends that there's another way to live. When you start speaking your truth, you give voice to people who couldn't find their own words. When you start walking in your purpose, you light a path for people who were lost in the dark. So I'm asking you right now. No, mm-mm. I'm demanding that you right now stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Stop asking if it's okay to be authentic. Stop looking around for approval to be who you were born to be. You don't need a committee to approve your authenticity. You don't need votes to validate your existence. You don't need a consensus to be who God made you to be. The world doesn't need, I repeat, the world doesn't need another copy of someone else. We have enough of those. What the world needs is the original you, the authentic voice that you from your unique perspective, your genuine gifts operating at full capacity. There are problems out there that only you can solve. There are people out there that only you can reach. There are dreams only you can birth, and there are changes that you can only make. But none of that can happen if you're too busy being somebody else. None of that can manifest if you're hiding behind a mask. None of that can come to pass if you're too scared to show the world who you really are. For such a time as this, those words are echoing over your life right now. You weren't born by accident. You weren't placed where you are by a coincidence. You are positioned for a purpose. Maybe it's maybe you're the first in your family to get your degree for such a time as this. Maybe you're the only person of your background in the room for such a time as this. Maybe you're the only one willing to speak up when everybody else is staying quiet for such a time as this. Maybe you've been through struggles that others haven't experienced, and now you can help people that others can't reach for such a time as this. Maybe you've made some mistakes that you've learned from, and we all have. And now you can guide people away from the same pitfalls for such a time as this. Maybe you have a perspective that's different from everybody around you. And that perspective is exactly what's needed to solve their problem. I'm going to say it again. For such a time as this. So, right now, I'm charging you to take off that mask. Stop the performance. Be authentically, unapologetically, and completely you. When people ask you to explain yourself, you don't need to. Tell them you don't need to. When they ask you to tone it down or turn it up, when they ask you to fit in or stand out, when they ask you to conform, transform. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. And you can't live with yourself if you're not being yourself. You can't respect yourself if you're not honoring who you are. You can't love yourself if you're constantly trying to be someone else. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Your season of authenticity has arrived. Stop hiding. Start shining. Stop pretending. Start being. Stop conforming and start transforming. The real you is not a backup plan. It's actually the main event. The authentic you is not the consolation prize. It's the grand prize. The genuine you is not second best. That's first class. So, be you. Be authentic. Be unapologetic. Be unstoppable. Because can't nobody, and I mean nobody, can tell you how to be you. Your mask is coming off. Your truth is coming out. Your authentic self is taking over. And the world is about to see what it looks like when someone has the courage to be completely, totally, authentically themselves. Go be great. Go be you. And watch, just watch how your authenticity transforms not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. So the revolution starts. It starts with you being you. So let's go. This is Rod Manuel with the Double Edge Factor. And if you found this episode or even a few words value added, share this episode with just one person. The only way we grow this podcast is when you share it. The more you share, the more that we can reach more people and have a greater impact on people around the world. So, do me that favor. Hit that subscribe button to never miss another episode. Or you can find the Double Edge Factor on linktree.com, where you can join that email list and have access to all of our social media outlets. And I'll leave you with this, my friends. Be intentional with your words, be intentional with your thoughts, and be intentional with your actions. And always find a way to be a blessing to someone else today.